Hello and welcome back to NV Podcast. We are doing ministry takeover, and this is the worship ministry.
Celis.
And today,
I am Marielis. I am Jack Celis.
today we're gonna be talking about
Identity
versus.
productivity.
We're gonna be talking
Yes.
about identity versus productivity. And I guess from a worship perspective, um, how do you feel like you've learned about that over the years, like starting worship at like 12 years old and getting older now and being
hmm
older?
That's a beautiful question. So
That's a beautiful
it
question.
is. It's such a great question. Starting worship, I feel like I was not born into it, but like pushed towards it.
Hmm.
And it all started with my wonderful pastor. He knows who. Um, and I come from like a singing background with, my dad and my brothers, and even my mom sings a little. And pastor one day was like, I was like 11, I think. And he's like, "You're gonna sing. You're gonna go sing on Sunday. Go
Hmm.
sing." And I was like, "What? Why do you want me to sing?" He's like, "'Cause you're gonna do it. I'm gonna make you do it." And he made me do it. I literally got up and I sang Oceans. Wait, no, that's Rooftop.
Oceans.
Oh
Or
no, we come upon the waters. And then
and
Rooftops was your song.
yeah, that was the one I started with.
Yeah, she sang too, Rooftops.
Yeah.
So it was like a talent show, and I just started singing, and I did it. Honestly, at that point, I did it just to like make my pastor happy
Hmm.
or proud because he pushed me to do it. So I was like, okay, okay, fine, I'll do it. Um, and I just sang and I did it just to sing, and it felt good at the moment. I felt the did it just to sing, and it felt good at the moment. I felt the praise and good job, you sing so well,
Wow,
mira
you're so
mami,
good.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
so good. And I was like, oh my God, I am so good. And that's kind of what productivity,
Hmm. Yeah.
not really doing. Like I was just put on a platform and I was put to sing, and that's in my head how I thought about it. And yeah, what was your upbringing with that?
I have pretty much the exact same story, and that's
Mm,
something that I do love our pastor for. He has a talent for seeing other people's talent and seeing other people's
mhm.
gift and pushing them to get there. And I think that that was key for me to get to the point that I am today, or for us to even get to the point
Yeah.
that we're at today. But me too. I started at like maybe 9 years old or 10 years old,
Mhm.
and I sang rooftops, talked about, and since then I just
By the way, she
worshipped all the
sang it
time.
right after
Talked about, and since then I just
By the way, she
worshipped all the
sang it
time.
right after I sang it, not saying that she copied me, but
Okay, I didn't. But yeah, I honestly, when I was younger, I started singing since like I sang before I spoke, and I always received a lot of praise, and I was constantly like, I'm the best, and I can sing, and I do this, and I do that, and that was my identity for a long time. I didn't really know what worship even was, and I was just doing it because I had the talent, and I was the best in the world. So I think that growing older, you really start to understand like my identity is not that I'm a great singer, and
Mhm.
although God gave us that gift, that's not who we are. Our identity is to serve God. It is to bring
Yeah.
others to Christ, and we are just vessels, the honor.
Mhm.
And how many times we sing and how great we sing and all the riffs and the runs and the harmonies that we do, it doesn't bring us any closer to salvation. It doesn't
Right.
make us, better. That was key for me to learn so that that's not gonna me singing good is not gonna bring me to heaven.
Mhm.
Me truly others to worship and bringing the church to worship
Yeah.
was truly that I needed to make.
Mhm.
How was that with you realizing like and making that differentiation?
It took it it shifted me. It felt
Mhm.
it felt more like an earthquake. I
Yeah.
went through a big season of my life where I was wrestling with God a lot. I was having a lot of identity issues when it comes to my relationship with God, because of specific season that I was going through, and I didn't understand why God would put me in such a hard place in my life as a young girl. And I thought that He hated me, and I thought that He didn't love me, and that I wasn't no good, basically, because of what I was going through. But God decided to change that narrative, putting me in a tough situation, so He Himself can be glorified.
Amen.
And I found through that process and through everything that I went through in that desert, like truly, I was deep in the trenches of that desert. But still, not like God was still providing me manna. God was still providing me air conditioning. The clothes were growing with me, just like He did with the people of Israel.
Yeah.
He was still there, and I just didn't acknowledge that He was. And when I finally came to the realization that I got out of the other side of this because of Jesus. There was no other way out
Yeah.
but Him, and me seeking Him first and me wanting more of what was given to me made me realize, like, I can't be nothing without Him, right? Like, He is everything.
Yeah.
And it took me to be at my lowest point to realize Jesus is everything,
Yeah.
and He is the only way out of this.
Mhm.
And I found my identity in that
Yes.
wow, God gave me another chance at life, and He reached out His hand, and all I had to do was grab it.
Yeah.
And so worshiping came easy. Like it actually, like I actually knew the understanding of worshiping in spirit and in truth, because I know the God that I'm serving, and I know the position that He took me out of, and I give Him glory because of it.
Amen.
And He didn't have to. Like, we are so undeserving of a lot of things, but yet beauty within us, and He sees that grace. And up on that cross, He saw this. He saw us,
Yeah.
you know? Um, and yeah, so me like worshiping Him now is just like, God, I give you everything because I would not be here if it
Yeah.
wasn't for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, I wouldn't have a voice if it weren't for
Mm-hmm.
Him. He's the one who gave us the
Yeah,
ability, like,
real.
and He can take it away at any moment. And I think that even aside from the worship perspective, just being high achievers in general, and then feeling like if I'm not reaching my goal right now, I'm failing. You know, if I'm not getting enough money, if I'm not, having my own house, and if I'm not achieving the goals that I want to achieve
Yeah.
right now, then I'm not worth anything. And I think that that's hard for me because I've always in my life found also value in being ahead of everyone and being academically smart
Yeah.
and being making smart decisions, and none of that is gonna save me at the end of the day. And finding my worth, it's hard sometimes because then you feel like you're a failure when you're not reaching,
Yeah.
the place that you do want to be at. But I think that it's hard for me, and this is something that I struggle with a lot, like we're talking about it, but it's definitely a real life struggle. I think shifting my perspective and knowing that my identity is being a daughter of Christ or whoever, like a son of God or whoever it may be, rather than in what I have or how I look or how I'm perceived, none of that matters at the end of the day. It's all like all our worth is found in Christ, and I think that that's really important.
Yeah, that is. And I like that you said that because, I mean, if you think about it, John the Baptist,
Mhm.
he was always portrayed as the weirdo who always wore like weird clothes.
Yeah.
But all he was doing was preaching the gospel. Like,
Mhm.
he didn't care what people perceived of him.
Yeah.
He just cared of making the way for the Messiah.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's what we do when we find our identity. It's like, I don't care what you think of me.
Exactly.
I am meant to submit to the Lord, abide and follow Him, right? And preach His word. And once, like in the worship perspective, once we get up on that stage or that altar, not the stage, hello, that altar, it's like I'm not doing it for the congregation to worship the Most High King,
Mhm.
but I'm worshiping, stand,
Mhm.
worship from where you
Yeah.
stand. for you. And sometimes I'll be singing up there and I'll be like, ah, like the worst. But I know that it's pleasing to God. Like
Yeah.
I, he's like, wow. At that moment, right? Because obviously sound is important. But sometimes when I'm crying, you're like, I can't. I don't even know. But when you're up there and it's like, I don't care how I sound. I don't care that I'm on the floor right now.
Mhm.
And I have found my identity in that, that I don't have to please others, right? And this world teaches you when it comes to productivity to follow your heart. Do you, boo? Go get whatever you want to do, and that's not what we're called to do when we find our identity in Jesus. We are meant to submit to
Yeah.
him and follow him. And when we do that, everything else will follow according to God's
Yeah.
will, you know?
Yeah. I think that's also something that's really hard as young women,
Mm-hmm.
to be the girl boss,